The stars shimmered in the viewport as Ambassador Jack Harrison adjusted his formal uniform. This meeting would change human history forever. After centuries of wondering if they were alone in the universe, humanity finally had its answer. 5 minutes until docking, Ambassador, said Lieutenant Samantha Riley. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, and her eyes never stopped scanning their surroundings. As both military attaché and xenolinguistics expert, she'd been training for this moment her entire career. Thanks, Sam. How's the team holding up? Jack asked, his voice steady despite the weight of 7 billion lives on his shoulders. Nervous but ready, sir. The Earth ship glided toward the massive space station orbiting Alpha Centauri. Its sleek lines contrasted with the organic, curved architecture of the alien structure. Lights pulsed along its hull in patterns that seemed almost like a language. The docking clamps engaged with a gentle shudder. Jack took a deep breath. Let's make a good first impression. The airlock cycled open, revealing a delegation of beings that stretched the human imagination. In the front stood a tall, reptilian creature with iridescent scales and vertical pupils. Beside it was something that resembled a 6-foot praying mantis with 4 arms and compound eyes that reflected the light in rainbow patterns. "Welcome, humans," the reptilian being said through a translator device. "I am Speaker Vrex Thar of the Vortec Dominion. We represent the Galactic Council, a union of 27 species across this arm of the galaxy." Jack stepped forward. Ambassador Jack Harrison, representing the United Earth Government. "We are honored to meet you." The delegation moved through the station toward a large chamber. Sam noticed how other aliens watched them pass, some with curiosity, others with what looked like disdain. Her translator picked up whispers. "So primitive. Did you see their ship? Barely faster than light. Fresh meat for the grinder." She kept her face neutral but made mental notes. Something felt off about the council's warm welcome. The meeting chamber featured a circular table with representatives from various species. Jack presented Earth's credentials and formal greeting, offering friendship and trade. "The Council welcomes Earth to the galactic community," Vrex Thar announced. "We offer you knowledge, technology, and protection as you join our ranks." An insectoid being clicked forward. "I am Zilath of the Hive Collective. Our scans of your system indicate unusual mineral compositions on your planet. Most interesting." Sam caught Jack's eye. They hadn't mentioned scanning Earth. The meeting continued for hours. Promises of cultural exchange, trade agreements, and technological sharing filled the air. The Council offered Earth an embassy on Centauri Prime, their diplomatic hub. Later, in their private quarters, Jack called his team together. "First impressions," he asked. Sam spoke first. "They're very interested in our resources, sir. Too interested. And did you notice how they keep asking about our military capabilities while downplaying their own?" Frank Keller, the mission's science officer, nodded. "They claimed their faster-than-light drives reach factor 8, but I observed their ships in transit. They're at least factor 12. They're hiding their true capabilities." Jack frowned. "Exactly what I thought. They're treating us like newcomers who don't know any better." "What's our move?" Sam asked. "We play along. Accept their embassy offer. Show appreciation for their generosity. Meanwhile, we gather intelligence and prepare." Jack looked at each team member. "Earth has been independent for its entire history. I don't plan on changing that now." As the Earth delegation returned to their ship the next day, samples of alien technology discreetly collected and stored for analysis, Jack watched the stars through the viewport. "They think we're just another species to manipulate," he said quietly to Sam. "They have no idea what humans are capable of when backed into a corner." Sam nodded. "Should I warn Earth Defense?" "Immediately. Tell them to prepare quietly. I have a feeling our new friends won't be friendly for long." The Earth ship pulled away from the station, engines glowing blue against the darkness. Behind them, the Council watched, already calculating the value of their newest discovery. 6 months passed since first contact. The Earth Embassy on Centauri Prime stood as a symbol of humanity's entry into galactic society. Ambassador Jack Harrison sat at his desk, reviewing reports from home. Earth had shared some technology and begun limited trade with Council worlds. The relationship seemed stable on the surface. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. "Ambassador, Speaker Vrex, Thar requests an urgent meeting," said the embassy eye. Jack frowned. "When?" "Now, sir. His delegation is already in the lobby." That wasn't protocol. Council meetings were scheduled days in advance. Jack straightened his uniform and nodded to Samantha Riley, who stood nearby. "I don't like this," she whispered as they walked to the conference room. The reptilian speaker waited with 4 Vortec guards and 2 insectoid Ziloth. Their posture seemed different today, more rigid, more dominant. "Ambassador Harrison." Vrexthar began without the usual pleasantries. "The Council has completed its assessment of Earth's position within our community." Jack kept his face neutral. "We appreciate the Council's attention." Vrexthar's vertical pupils narrowed. "Earth occupies valuable space along key trade routes. You possess unusually high concentrations of rare elements. Your system's position provides strategic advantages. We're happy to discuss fair trade." Jack started. "The Council does not negotiate with newcomers." Vrexthar cut him off. "The standard arrangement is simple. Earth will pay protection fees of 30% of your global production. Additionally, you will grant mining rights to Council corporations on all planets in your system." Sam's hand moved subtly toward her concealed weapon. Jack gave her a tiny head shake. "That sounds less like trade and more like tribute," Jack said carefully. The Ziloth representative clicked its mandibles. "It is the standard arrangement for species at your development level. The galaxy is dangerous. Our protection is valuable." "And if we decline?" Jack asked. Vrexthar's mouth twisted into what might have been a smile. "Then Earth would be isolated. No trade, no technology exchange, no protection from unfortunate incidents." Jack maintained eye contact. "I'll need to consult with my government. You have 30 Earth days to begin compliance." Vrexthar rose. "This is generous. Most receive less time." After they left, Sam exploded. "This is extortion. They're no better than common criminals." Jack nodded grimly. "Get me a secure line to Earth, and find our friend Krell. I want to know if this is standard practice." Later that night, in a shadowy corner of the diplomatic sector, Jack and Sam met with Krell, a bird-like piloxy who had shown them kindness since their arrival. "Is it true?" Jack asked. "Does the Council do this to everyone?" Krell's feathers ruffled anxiously, not to founding members or militarily powerful species, but to newcomers. "Yes. My people pay 40%. The Regellians pay 50%. Those who refused." He looked away. "The Alterans tried to resist. Their colony world suffered pirate attacks until they agreed to terms." "Pirates with Council weapons," Sam muttered. Krell nodded. "Many species are growing tired of this arrangement, but none can stand against the Council alone." On Earth, Defense Secretary Laura Powell slammed her hand on the table after hearing Jack's report. "Absolutely not. Earth doesn't pay protection money to anyone." General Daniel Martinez nodded. "We've been preparing since your first warning, Ambassador. Our fleet has doubled in size, all constructed in the asteroid belt away from their observation." "We need time," Powell said. "Tell them we're considering their offer. Meanwhile, every factory on Earth, Mars, and the moons will work at full capacity. If they want to fight, we'll give them one they won't forget." Back on Centauri Prime, Jack delivered Earth's official response, a request for more time to consider the generous offer and prepare necessary administrative structures. Vrexthar seemed pleased by humanity's apparent submission. "Wise choice, Ambassador. Perhaps humans are more reasonable than other species we've encountered." As Jack bowed slightly in fake respect, his mind was already racing with plans. Earth would play along, but only until they were ready to show the Council exactly what happened when someone tried to extort humanity. 1 year passed since the Council's demands. On the surface, Earth appeared to comply. Small shipments of resources were sent. Council representatives were welcomed on guided tours of Earth facilities. Humanity presented the image of a species accepting its place in the galactic order. Behind this facade, a different story unfolded. Deep beneath the Martian surface, Chief Engineer Frank Keller worked in a massive underground facility. Hundreds of engineers and scientists moved around him as he studied holographic displays of a new ship design. "Run the simulation again," Frank ordered. "Focus on the shield harmonics when hit by vortex plasma weapons." The simulation showed a human ship surviving direct hits that would have destroyed earlier models. Frank smiled. The Council had no idea that humans had been studying their technology, finding weaknesses, and developing countermeasures. "Sir, the prototype is ready for testing," his assistant said. Frank nodded. "Begin the sequence. Let's see if our friends' weapons are as superior as they think." On Earth's moon, Dr. Olivia Grant supervised another breakthrough. Her team had reverse-engineered and improved upon the Council's communication systems. Standard Council transmissions take 20 minutes to reach their nearest outpost, she explained to General Martinez during his inspection. "Our quantum entanglement system is instantaneous across any distance we tested." Martinez examined the small device. "And they have nothing like this." "Nothing," Olivia confirmed. "We intercepted their technical databases. They tried this approach centuries ago and abandoned it as impossible. We solved the problems they couldn't." Martinez smiled. "Keep this absolutely secret. It will give us a critical advantage when the time comes." In orbit around Jupiter, Colonel Peter Johnson trained Earth's new special forces. Soldiers in advanced suits practiced zero-gravity combat against drones programmed to fight like Council species. "Faster," Johnson barked into his comm. "The Vortec have better reflexes than that." Again. The soldiers adjusted, their movements becoming more fluid and precise. After months of training, they could now outmaneuver the alien fighting styles they would face. "Colonel," a soldier asked during a break, "when will we actually use this training?" Johnson's face grew serious. "Sooner than you think. Earth won't pay protection money forever." On Centauri Prime, Ambassador Harrison welcomed a Council inspection team to the Earth Embassy. They were there to ensure compliance with tribute requirements. "As you can see," Jack said smoothly, "Earth is adjusting well to Council membership. Our people understand the benefits of your protection." The Zilath inspector clicked its mandibles. "Your mining operations seem inefficient. Production could be increased." "We're implementing new techniques," Jack replied. "Humans are still learning your advanced methods." After the inspectors left, Samantha Riley entered Jack's office. "Council ships are increasing patrols near Saturn. They might have spotted something." Jack frowned. "What did they see?" "Nothing concrete. Our stealth systems worked. But they're suspicious. They're requesting permission to establish a monitoring post in our system." "Stall them," Jack said. "We need 3 more months before we're ready." Sam nodded. Earth Command sent a new update. The fleet is at 70%. Mars shipyards are working at full capacity under the surface. The asteroid belt facilities have completed 30 dreadnoughts hidden in the debris fields. "And our allies?" Jack asked. "Krell has made contact with resistance groups on 7 worlds. They're waiting for our signal. The Alterans are especially eager to join us." Jack looked out at the stars through his office window. Soon those stars would be the backdrop for humanity's stand against tyranny. "Tell Earth we need to accelerate the timeline. The Council is getting suspicious. We either move within 3 months or risk discovery." As Sam left to send the message, Jack thought about the Council's arrogance. They believed humans would accept servitude like so many species before them. They had mistaken humanity's patience for submission. Soon, they would learn their mistake. The back room of a Centauri Prime trading post was not what most would consider a place for changing galactic history. Yet here sat representatives from 4 species, speaking in hushed tones. Ambassador Jack Harrison looked around the table. To his left sat Krell, the bird-like Piloxy whose feathers nervously ruffled. Across from him was Zax, an Alteran with blue skin and 6 fingers on each hand. Beside Zax sat Nog, a short, furry Proxen, and Vela, a tall, graceful Regellian with silver eyes. "Thank you for coming," Jack said quietly. "The risk you've taken just being here shows your courage." Zax leaned forward. "The Alteran people have suffered under council extortion for 30 years. We've watched our world stripped of resources while our children go hungry." Nog nodded. "The Proxens face similar hardships. Last year, they increased our tribute to 60%. Our economy is collapsing." Jack placed a small device on the table. "This is why I ask you here. Earth refuses to accept the Council's demands. We've been preparing to resist, but we know we can't do it alone." He activated the device, projecting an image of Earth's secret fleet. The aliens gasped. "You built all this in 1 year?" Vela asked, her silver eyes wide. "We did," Jack confirmed. "And we're not stopping. But a true rebellion needs more than ships. It needs allies." Krell looked nervous. "The Council monitors all communication between worlds. How can we coordinate without them knowing?" Lieutenant Samantha Riley, standing guard by the door, smiled. "That's where our communications specialist comes in." Eric Barnes stepped forward. The young man had been quietly listening in the corner. He placed another device on the table. "This is a quantum communicator," Eric explained. "It uses paired particles to send messages instantly across any distance. The Council has nothing like it, and it can't be intercepted or tracked." He handed each alien a small device that looked like an ordinary translator. "These appear to be standard equipment but contain hidden quantum communicators. We can now coordinate in complete secrecy." Vela touched the device gently. "My people have resistance cells on 3 worlds. With this, we could unite our efforts." "Exactly," Jack said. "Earth is preparing to move against the Council in 2 months. We're asking you to be ready. Not with large fleets, we know you don't have them, but with information, sabotage, and uprisings when the time comes." The aliens looked at each other, years of fear battling with hope in their eyes. "The Alterans will join you," Zax said finally. "We have nothing left to lose." One by one, the others agreed. A resistance network was born. Back at the Earth Embassy, Jack, Sam, and Eric reviewed their progress. "The network is growing," Eric reported. 17 worlds have now joined secretly. The quantum network is expanding every day. Sam frowned at her datapad. "Council patrols are increasing again. They're watching us more closely." "Have we been compromised?" Jack asked sharply. Eric shook his head. "I don't think so, but—" The door opened, and Carl Weber, one of the embassy staff, entered with refreshments. "Sorry to interrupt, sir. Thought you might need these during your meeting." After Carl left, Eric's eyes narrowed. He typed quickly on his pad, then showed it to Jack. "Check WBR. Unusual data organizations from his quarters." Jack nodded slightly. If they had a spy in their midst, they needed to know immediately. That night, Sam and Eric secretly entered Weber's quarters while he was at dinner. Sam kept watch while Eric examined the communication equipment. "Found something," Eric whispered. "Encrypted transmissions sent directly to a Council security channel. He's been reporting our movements for weeks." Sam's face hardened. "We need to feed him false information. Make the Council think we're still months away from being ready." "And the real timeline?" Eric asked. "Tell our allies to prepare. We may need to move sooner than planned." Sam looked around the room. "The Council is getting nervous. We don't have much time left." As they slipped out, Council ships moved into position around Earth's solar system, their commanders watching for any sign of the resistance they suspected was brewing. The message from the Council arrived without warning. Ambassador Jack Harrison read it twice, his face growing darker each time. "They're tripling our tribute requirements," he told Samantha Riley. And they want to establish permanent bases on Earth, Mars, and our moon. They call them administrative centers, but the plans show weapon emplacements. Sam's hand tightened on her datapad. It's an occupation force. They're moving faster than we expected, Jack said. Weber must have told them something that spooked them. Jack activated his quantum communicator, connecting directly to Defense Secretary Laura Powell on Earth. Madam Secretary, the Council has escalated. We need to move now. Powell's image nodded grimly. Admiral Garcia has the fleet ready. All ships are in position near the jump points. How soon will they make their move? The message says they're sending ships to establish their bases in 3 days. Then we strike in 2, Powell decided. I'll inform the President. Maintain your position at the embassy until ordered otherwise. As the connection ended, Jack turned to Sam. Contact our allies. Tell them it's time. Across the galaxy, hidden resistance cells received the message. On 17 worlds, oppressed species began their long-planned sabotage operations against Council facilities. In the void of space between Jupiter and Saturn, Admiral Susan Garcia addressed the captains of Earth's hidden fleet. Holographic faces looked back at her from 50 warships, none of which the Council knew existed. For 1 year we've hidden in the shadows, she told them. We've trained while they watched us through narrowed eyes, believing we were beaten before we began. Today, we show them how wrong they were. The captains saluted as Garcia continued. The Council believes their fleet will arrive at Earth and find a compliant population ready for occupation. Instead, they'll find us waiting. Battle Group Alpha will engage their main force near Mars. Battle Group Beta will secure the jump point to prevent reinforcements. Battle Group Gamma will proceed to Centauri Prime to support our embassy staff and allies there. One captain raised his hand. Admiral, they outnumber us 5-1 across the galaxy. Garcia smiled slightly, but not at any single point of engagement. We've studied their patrol patterns for months. Their ships are scattered across 100 systems. We'll be fighting only those in our immediate vicinity. By the time they can concentrate their forces, our allies on other worlds will have begun their own operations. 2 days later, a Council fleet of 20 ships emerged from the jump point near Mars. They expected to find a clear path to Earth. Instead, they found 30 Earth vessels waiting, weapons charged. The Council commander's face appeared on Garcia's view screen, mandibles clicking in surprise. This is a sanctioned operation by order of the Galactic Council, the Zilaf said. Stand aside or be destroyed. Admiral Garcia stood tall on her bridge. This is Admiral Susan Garcia of the Earth Defense Force. You are entering sovereign Earth space without permission. You will power down your weapons and engines, or we will respond with force. The Zilaf commander chittered in what might have been laughter. Your primitive vessels are no match for Council technology. This is your final warning. Garcia cut the transmission and opened a channel to her fleet. All ships, engage as planned. Show them what humans can do. The Earth fleet moved with perfect coordination, their formations more advanced than anything the Council had seen. The first volley of Earth weapons tore through Council shields that had never been designed to withstand the specific frequencies Earth scientists had discovered. On Centauri Prime, Jack and Sam watched from the embassy as Earth's Battle Group Gamma emerged from the jump point. Across the station, alarms sounded as Council forces scrambled to respond to the unexpected attack. Jack's quantum communicator chimed with reports from allied worlds. The Alterans had disabled 3 Council bases. The Proxans had seized control of a Council supply depot. The Regellians had taken over communication hubs on 2 moons. It's happening, Sam said, watching the battle unfold above them. The galaxy is changing today. Jack nodded. Send the message to all Council worlds. The days of extortion are over. The resistance has begun. The news spread across the galaxy faster than any Council censor could stop it. Humanity had fought back, and they were winning. Reports came in from every sector. Earth ships had destroyed or captured 15 Council vessels near Mars without losing a single ship. Their shields somehow ignored Council weapons, and their targeting systems were uncannily precise. In the Council's main chamber on Centauri Prime, chaos reigned. Representatives shouted over each other as emergency reports flooded in. The Alterans have seized our mining facilities on 3 moons. The Proxons destroyed our security headquarters. 17 worlds are in open rebellion. Speaker Vrex Thar pounded his clawed hand on the table. How is this possible? They are primitives. They should have no defense against our technology. And Aid approached nervously. Speaker, we've lost contact with our main shipyard in the Orion sector. At that shipyard, Major Kevin Phillips led a team of Earth Special Forces through the massive facility. Colonel Johnson's zero-gravity training had prepared them perfectly. They moved like shadows, disabling security systems and planting charges at critical junctions. All teams report, Kevin whispered into his comm. Alpha Team, charges set in power distribution. Beta Team, charges set in life support hub. Gamma Team, charges set in fuel processing. Kevin checked his timer. 5 minutes until detonation. Return to the ship. The human commandos retreated to their stealth vessel as the countdown continued. When the charges exploded, the Council's largest shipyard erupted in a chain of precisely controlled explosions. Production bays collapsed, construction docks shattered, and half-built warships drifted useless in space. No lives were lost. The humans had carefully timed their attack during a shift change and evacuated the facility. But the Council had lost their ability to build new warships in that sector for months to come. On Earth, Dr. Olivia Grant monitored the quantum communication network as reports flowed in from across the galaxy. The system is working perfectly, she told Defense Secretary Powell. Our forces have real-time communication, while the Council is blind, trying to use their standard channels which were jamming. Powell nodded. How are our allies doing? Better than expected. The Rigelians have taken 3 Council outposts. The Palaxi are blocking Council ships from accessing their jump gates. Even species we didn't know were joining us are rising up. Across 50 star systems, the pattern repeated. Council forces, used to facing frightened, compliant populations, found themselves attacked from all sides by carefully coordinated resistance fighters. Species that had paid tribute for centuries saw their chance for freedom and seized it. On a Council colony world, the local governor watched in horror as his security forces were overwhelmed by the native population they had oppressed for decades. As they dragged him from his palace, he saw humans fighting alongside the rebels, providing tactical support and advanced weapons. You don't understand what you're doing, he shouted. The Council will bring its full might against you. A human soldier looked at him coldly. We're counting on it. Every ship they send to this world is one less defending their core systems. Back on Centauri Prime, the Council leadership made a desperate decision. Activate the Sunbreaker, Vrex Thar ordered. Target the human home system. His advisors looked at him in shock. Speaker, the Sunbreaker hasn't been used in 5,000 years. Its power is unpredictable. These humans leave us no choice. They've united our subjects against us. Make an example of their world, and the others will fall back in line. As the order went out to activate the ancient superweapon, Ambassador Jack Harrison received the intelligence from a sympathetic Council aide. He immediately contacted Admiral Garcia. They're activating something called the Sunbreaker, he reported. Some kind of superweapon. Garcia's face hardened on the screen. We've heard rumors about this. It supposedly can destabilize a star, causing it to flare and scorch nearby planets. Can we stop it? We'll have to. Get me everything you can about its location. We're moving to Phase 2 of the operation. It's time to take the fight directly to the Council's core worlds. The Earth fleet moved through space like a surgical instrument. Admiral Garcia stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching tactical displays as battle groups Alpha and Beta combined forces. The liberation of 14 Council-controlled worlds had bolstered their fleet with allies eager to join the fight. "Set course for the Centauri system," Garcia ordered. "All ships prepare for jump." General Martinez, who had joined the fleet as ground forces commander, stood beside her. "The Council has concentrated their remaining ships around their 5 core worlds. They've abandoned outposts across 3 sectors to strengthen their home defenses." "Exactly as we wanted," Garcia replied. "They're giving up territory to protect their centers of power." The massive fleet, now numbering over 200 ships from 20 different species, jumped into hyperspace toward the heart of Council territory. On Centauri Prime, Ambassador Jack Harrison met with the growing Alliance leadership. Representatives from 27 formerly subjugated worlds sat around a table that once held only Council members. The Sunbreaker facility is located on Vortex II, the Speaker's homeworld, Jack explained, showing holographic plans obtained from their intelligence network. "It's an ancient weapon built thousands of years ago during the First Council War." Krell pointed at a section of the hologram. "These are their planetary shields. They're the strongest in Council space, which is why we won't attack directly," Jack said. "Colonel Johnson's special forces will infiltrate through this mining tunnel system. They'll disable the shields from inside, allowing our fleet to target the facility." Samantha Riley, now a commander after her work coordinating resistance cells, spoke next. "We've received word from 5 more systems requesting to join our alliance. Species that were neutral are now seeing which way the tide is turning. The key to victory isn't just military strength," Jack told the gathered aliens. "It's showing that we offer a better alternative to Council rule. Every world we liberate, we help rebuild. No tribute, no extortion, equal partnership." The representatives nodded in agreement. Their worlds had known only servitude for generations. The idea of true independence united them more strongly than any military threat could. As the meeting concluded, Zax the Alteran approached Jack. "My people lived under Council occupation for 30 years. We never dreamed we would see freedom again. Humans have accomplished in months what we thought impossible." Jack shook the 6-fingered hand of his ally. "We just sparked the flame. All of you were the fuel ready to burn." Near Vortex II, Colonel Johnson led his team of special forces through abandoned mining tunnels. They moved silently, their advanced suits allowing them to avoid detection by Council security systems. "According to the scans, the shield generator is 2 levels above us," Johnson whispered. A soldier looked at his scanner. "Sir, I'm picking up unusual energy readings from deeper in the facility. I think the Sunbreaker is powering up." Johnson checked his own readings and frowned. "They're preparing to fire. We need to move faster." The team doubled their pace, encountering a Council security patrol. The fight was brief and silent. Stun weapons left the guards unconscious but unharmed. At the shield generator, Johnson's team placed their charges. Earth Command, this is Eagle Team. Charges set on the primary shield generator. Detonation in 30 seconds. Admiral Garcia's voice came through their comms. Understood, Eagle Team. All ships are in position. Be advised, we're detecting massive energy buildup from the facility. The charges detonated, and the planetary shields flickered and died. Immediately, the Earth fleet opened fire, targeting the Sunbreaker facility with pinpoint accuracy. On his flagship, Speaker Vrex, Thar watched in horror as his ultimate weapon was destroyed before it could fire. Warning alarms blared as Earth ships surrounded the planet. "Speaker," his aide said, "we're receiving a transmission from the human admiral." Garcia's face appeared on the screen. "This is Admiral Susan Garcia of the Earth Alliance. Your weapon has been neutralized. Your fleet is outmatched. Surrender your forces, or we will have no choice but to continue our attack." Vrexthar hissed in anger, but he could see the tactical displays. The heart of Council power was now surrounded by the very species they had once extorted. "The Council does not surrender," he began, but the word sounded hollow even to himself. The Great Hall of Centauri Prime had never been so full. Representatives from over 50 worlds gathered to witness the formal surrender of the Galactic Council. Speaker Vrexthar and the 6 remaining council leaders stood before the assembly, their once proud postures now bent with defeat. Jack Harrison walked to the center of the hall. 1 year had passed since Earth received the Council's extortion demands. Now he stood as the representative of the alliance that had broken the Council's power. Today marks the end of an era of exploitation, Jack said, his voice carrying through the hall. For centuries, the Council used their technological advantage to extort tribute from younger species. They took what was not theirs. They threatened those who refused. That ends today. Vrexthar glared at Jack with vertical pupils full of hatred. You have no idea what you've done, human. Without the Council's guidance, the galaxy will fall into chaos. No, Jack replied calmly. Without your extortion, the galaxy will finally know true cooperation. Admiral Garcia and General Martinez stood nearby as Vrexthar signed the formal surrender document. The terms were clear. All Council military forces would stand down. All tribute demands would end. All occupied worlds would be granted independence. After the ceremony, the real work began. Representatives from all worlds, including former Council species whose populations had often been unaware of their leaders' actions, gathered to form a new galactic alliance. Commander Samantha Riley, now serving as Earth's diplomatic coordinator, helped guide the discussions. The old Council took by force. This new alliance will be built on mutual benefit. Each world contributes according to their abilities and receives according to their needs. For 3 days, the delegates debated the structure of their new alliance. Former enemies found common ground. Species that had been pitted against each other by Council manipulation discovered shared values. On the 4th day, the Galactic Charter was signed. The Earth Alliance, as it came to be known in honor of the world that had sparked the rebellion, would be governed by representatives from all member worlds. No species would have dominance over others. In the new Alliance headquarters, Jack met with his team. Frank Keller, Olivia Grant, Eric Barnes, Kevin Phillips, and Samantha Riley had all played crucial roles in the rebellion. The Council's technology archives have been open to all members, Frank reported. Advances that were hoarded for centuries are now being shared. Olivia nodded. And not just shared, but improved upon. Our quantum communication network now connects 42 worlds, with more joining daily. The former Council races, Jack asked. Most of their populations are relieved, Sam said. They were told other species were dangerous primitives who needed to be controlled. Many are embracing the chance for peaceful cooperation. 3 former Council ships arrived in Earth's orbit, their designs modified to serve as training vessels. Earth captains would teach their new allies the tactics that had defeated the Council. In return, engineers from older species helped improve Earth's technology. On a newly liberated world, children from 6 different species played together in a park that had once been reserved for Council officials only. Their parents watched, still amazed at how quickly change had come. In what had been the Council's main prison, Vrexthar and the other Council leaders awaited trial for centuries of exploitation. They would face justice, but it would be fair justice, not the revenge they had feared. 1 month after the surrender, a small ship approached the edge of known space. It carried representatives from the Earth Alliance, including Commander Riley. They had detected signals from a previously unknown intelligent species. As they prepared for first contact, Sam reviewed the Alliance principles: respect, cooperation, mutual benefit. "This is Alliance Ship Horizon," she transmitted to the unknown vessel. "We come in peace, seeking friendship and cultural exchange." The response came in an unfamiliar language that their computers slowly translated. The new species was cautious, having detected other signals from space before, warnings about demanding Council tribute collectors. "The Council is gone," Sam replied. "The galaxy is free. We invite you to join a community of equals." As the new ship moved closer, Sam thought about how differently this meeting was unfolding compared to humanity's first contact just 2 years earlier. The cycle of extortion that had plagued the galaxy for centuries had been broken. All because Earth had refused to bow.